Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. And you know what? It feels like December. I don't trust the weather people. I feel like they lied. They straight up said we weren't supposed to get no snow. How is it Halloween and it's supposed to snow tomorrow? It's supposed to snow on Halloween. As how did you go have sexy adult Halloween? I'm blonde right now. For Halloween, well, I'm not blonde for Halloween, but I'm tossing the video up on out there because if anybody wants to see Blind Sam, they're gonna have to click a video. Because I'm such a sap. I'm a simp for my child. She said, "Daddy, you have pink hair." Eh. I'm trying to get high results with low effort on this parenting because I'm about to chop it. I was about to chop this off anyway. So hey, I'll be an anime character for like a week. But I've got this awesome guest here today, Miss Lovely Miss Walton. She is married to one of my very good friends from high school. And as soon as I got to talking to her for the first time, it was like, oh yeah, that's why he married her. She's awesome. How are you doing today,
I
Gina?
appreciate that. I'm well. I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Oh no, I appreciate you taking the time out today because it's Monday. If you ain't got nothing to do on a Monday morning, should be sleep. Should be like completely in your pajamas with like some background TV. Not even some TV really, because the TV on. It's on like two.
Jared
Just
put the
chilling.
TV on for me this morning on the news, and it's still on the news.
It's there. Just something to not be super silent. I don't want to feel like it's a horror movie, just hear a creak and I'm like, oh, what was that? And I'm a blonde now too. I'm a black blonde. I'm first, I'm out. I'm gonna
Super
be the
science.
first.
Super scent.
That's my see. That's more stressful. I don't know what's more stressful: being a normal, just background character in a horror movie, or being like the main character. You mean to tell me I got to be? I'm a Saiyan. So you mean to
Me.
tell me I have to actually fight the big scary monster? I want
Main
to.
character energy always.
No, no. I want the background character that you see in the first 10 minutes, and they see something happen, and they nope out the movie. You don't see them at any other point in time.
Main character energy. Main character energy.
Mm-mm. See, and what is that? I love Reddit because it's a nice blog that says r// I am not the main character. I am the main character. Because I love this because some people have main character energy and it makes them awesome. Because you've got that nice energy. You in the main cast on the show. You'd be in the opening credits. You'd have a
You think so? You think
that'd
so?
be you. You'd be one of those. I can see that. But I don't see you as one of those like you are absolute. You think you have plot armor. Like you walk around life like you just gonna trip, and then like a person in front of you is gonna fall perfectly to catch you, but somehow when they catch you, they're gonna like drop $100 somehow perfectly into your pocket,
I'm
and then the
so
person,
laid back.
nah,
I'm so laid back. And, even though I'm telling you main character energy, for me, main character energy is playing in the back, playing the background because it's like the industry, Hollywood, all that stuff. It's not the people that's in the spotlight, though to me, those are called distractions. It's the people in the background putting it together, making the mechanics work, them the ones with them deep pockets, So
no,
to
it's
me,
true.
that's what main character is. It's the authenticity, the brains, the science behind all the glitz and the glam. So that's the main character to me.
No, I feel you on that because I feel I am a strong number two. Like giggle. Like I have a strong background. Like I love being the assistant, the co, because I don't want to be the face. Let me just be the one that makes stuff happen. That way when the thing, whatever the event, the actual things I'm rolling, I'm just sitting there watching. Yes,
Or you
everything.
come
I'm just
in,
looking at a
wave your
checklist.
hand and keep it moving.
Yeah. Oh, because please, because if you're like being number one to me just means pointless meetings. That's all I'm imagining. You're constantly sitting with just talking about nothing. And not like how I like to talk about nothing in a good way, because most of the things I talk about, I ain't talking about nothing. Which is the whole like premise of the whole DTM network and is the whole
Right,
thing.
right, 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 right,
Because I
right.
always get so sidetracked because I have to like, and I mean sidetracked in life because any kind of the simple topic, I'm gonna like put it like over here over the face. We'll put it right here. It's gonna be us must trust us to discuss trusting us.
I love that.
Right? Because disclaimer, I am an optimistic nihilist,
Okay.
meaning I don't think anything matters. However, I think there. Do I believe that it's a beautiful thing that a million random things brought two people perfectly together? That is fucking beautiful. That is way more beautiful to me than some type of preordained, destined guy that wrote in the book, you. That's it. Doesn't matter what you do, y'all gonna wind up together. But you mean to tell me fuck up, fuck up, fuck up, fuck up, fuck shit stack, somehow, whole box open, bow, lighten the beam, us together? How? There are what is it, 8.2 billion people currently documented living on the planet right now. And
Hmm.
somehow two people, that's crazy. Have to, for my disclaimer. Because a lot of my time, because I know a lot of the statements, if you have a podcast, me being a man, me being black podcast, it is a black podcast. But I
Right.
don't like doing the whole, for lack of a better term, holier than thou, knowledgeable statements. Because who cares talking about where you can take somebody on a first date? That is like,
And
oh my God, that
can we
flooded the
just get in
internet.
for a minute? Can we just get into that? Ah, just for a wee little minute.
We can take a second because let's be clear,
'Cause,
Cheesecake
yeah,
Factory gross anyway. If you say we're going to Cheesecake Factory, cheese is not that good.
listen, it's not what it used to be. I'll put it that way. Because when
True.
I was pregnant with my first son, you couldn't pull me out of Cheesecake Factory for that grande burrito. But when they took that off the menu, I was over it.
They did used to have big portions. I remember I went there when first time I went to Cheesecake Factory. I took my mama. I had no idea that they did the whole like I was like what 17 or 18. First time seeing a restaurant do the whole ambience switch. I'm sitting there with my mama. They got the menu switching them over to the candles, lighting them all sweetly, putting
Yes,
the little
that's what I
wine.
said. It's not what they used to be. Everything, but I think that's just the time that we're living in right now. But getting back to your disclaimer in this list, in my opinion, I say take me to anywhere where I can get to know you because that's what we're supposed to be doing, right? Dating is the natural selection of who you are going to be with. Dating, we have taken the sacredness out of courting and building genuine relationships, getting to know the individual. It's like one day we meet, okay, we hunching, and I know I'm telling my age, we hunching, and then the next thing we got about 3, 4, 5 kids, and we done moved in, and so on and so forth. Listen, me and Jared's first date, believe it or not, was at Applebee's. We have been together for 11 years and married for 8.
Period.
And every now and then, even though I despise Applebee's now, we'll go just to just to rekindle that moment and reconnect. But that's why I think whoever made that list had to be very extremely young and immature. You
See,
know,
it's that's why I say us must trust us to discuss trusting us. It's a no matter what topic you're on, any topic in the world, you either spin a wheel, guarantee there's exactly 50 people, and
yep,
50 people, we just say 100, let's simplify it, make it real direct. Because I have this tendency of accidentally talking in metaphors. So let
right,
me be real direct. In any
right,
room, you get 100 people, guaranteed for any topic, it splits. Anything.
facts,
So we get to the whole dating. If there's 8.2 billion, like I said, that means that there are 8.2 billion different ways of love, 8.2 billion different ways people want to be touched and approached. But again, we're in the viral age, so
right.
like
And I
most
was gonna
people,
say, yeah, we're in a different era, and these kids they doing whatever, but if we are the ancestors now, we the aunties, we the we that group of
I
people.
know, I know, it's like
Embrace it. That's wisdom, man. That's wisdom.
it is, but stop
Come with
aging me.
a lot.
Those
Come with a lot, don't it? Look, I think the term that is down here, ain't it, man? Ain't it?
it's hidden me somewhere to think like, you know what? On a TV show, This is the age bracket of the characters. Like this is us. This we are the no pun intended because I'm not a fan of This Is Us, but that's a whole nother that's
My
for
mind
another
went there
episode.
too. My mind went there too. But no, really, dating and courting and, where you
Mhm.
meet, it's a genuineness in there. And if you're putting on a facade, you can only hold that facade and that mask for so long, which kind of delves into my work, but I'm gonna save it. Um,
Oh
but
no, we about to
it
let's tie it all in there because
did-
because I know you are a holistic healer and sorts, and that's one of my big platform things. I want us to be able to discuss things better
right.
because if we did have more, and I don't even mean digital platforms, but just in regular life, if the thought of asking someone out was initially trying to get to know just from jump where you went from start, because I might be in this because I'm lonely. You might be at the point of your life where you've just been working so much, so you actually want a partner over a romantical
Right.
situation. So you looking for, hey, what's your job? Well, I'm looking for, hey, what do you like to do? Those simple things, but it's hard to figure out how to even put
Communication.
that in exact words without sounding like a contrarian or problematic, or like you're just trying to quote somebody to stay viral. So I don't
Right.
know, because without me saying, because I know you told me your job title and all of that, but for some reason I keep saying like you're a holistic apothecarian,
No,
but
no,
that's
no, no, it's okay. It's okay. I have coined myself as a holistic wellness practitioner. And what that entails is everything holistic, mind, body, spirit. I'm in my PhD program in holistic medicine and metaphysics, and you can't have one without the other. The mind can't operate without the body can't operate without the spirit, and so on and so forth. And, my target audience, even though I don't, I service everyone, but what better way to service your own people because there's a lack in the industry. I've often heard, where are our leaders? They got lost somewhere between the late 80s, early 90s, going into 2000s. And it just goes with being culturally conscious, being in awareness of the need of the community as a whole
true.
and catering to those. And what does that look like? One might ask. In my opinion, that looks like speaking to the trauma. You hear people talk about the trauma, back in the day. We didn't talk about mental health. We don't talk about health. We don't talk
No,
about our eating habits, what that's looked like for us in quote unquote America, how we got here. We don't talk
no,
about epigenetics. We
no,
don't talk
that's
about what's been ingrained in our DNA and how it's affecting us and showing up in the now. And that's essentially what I have dedicated my life to. And I've had things like, well, girl, you ain't exactly a size two, and what you doing. That goes into, it's not a do as I say, not as I do type situation, but this has been my experience and this is where I'm at. And I'm all about being authentic, teaching from an authentic perspective, being what you wish someone had been to you during your time of experiencing some of the things that you see the community going through. Kind of like, if you know better, do better. So
facts.
I'm planting the seeds so that by the time, I may not even see it manifest completely, but once the seeds are planted, they can grow. You don't plant and expect to harvest the next day. So
Mm.
I've kind of dedicated this portion of my life to pouring into my community and breaking those barriers and those um, generational curses that go beyond what we can even remember. People don't talk about epigenetics. Epigenetics is how the body responds on a DNA and cellular level to trauma that happened to your ancestors. And it shows up in your life. I know you had some things that you asked me, but I'm going to my PhD program.
Oh no, keep going. I see. I'm an info dumper because everything you just said, I'm just over here like, oh my goodness, where do I start? I wonder where I jump back to. I'm like trying to pick like 2 to 3 things to just dive into because like you said, like the previous like if you're like if you were a teenager in the 80s, set with like 70s and up,
Mm-hmm.
up until now, and we'll stop that until so let's say teenager in the 70s all the way up to let's say 2000.
Yep.
You did not get a single piece of touch on
Nope.
mental health because I'm pretty sure all millennials are on the spectrum. Every single one of us for something. There's like, and it's not a joke, and I say it almost every episode because all of us have something about us now that we're adults where you can just clearly see. Like, I have a problem. Like most people always like on the recordings ask, "What am I constantly looking at?" Even on a recording, even like on this computer screen, I have a problem looking people in the eye. Like it genuinely makes me uncomfortable. You guys started stuttering because I was looking you directly in the eye on the screen. It makes me uncomfortable. Even the small thing, like I have like a weird sensory thing. This getting this blonde done was so rough for me. Having to sit still because if someone gently rubs on me, drives me nuts.
But what if I told you, but what exactly is neurodivergency? What if I
Mhm.
told you that some of these behaviors and things that people call non-traditional or unnormal, especially for us, because you know how we experience life. So how deep you want to go?
No, let's go. Let's do this.
How
Let's
we
do this.
experience life in this plane is not like other people. We're melanated, and that's why I have, since I've kind of seen a little bit of the light, why my focus is on Black, Indigenous, and people of color, our melanated family. They're calling this thing, they're calling our Indigenous and our historical practices, our way of life, our traditional way of life. They're calling it New Age. Ain't nothing new about it. You took it just like you took everything else. You slapped what you call your research on it, put a little razzle dazzle on it, and now it's called New Age. So, no, we have to take it back. And that's why in this season, I'm connecting. Back in, I started my journey back in the 90s when I was in high school. But I really kind of dove into it after my mom passed in 2015 when I experienced a lot of death. I lost two best friends, two high school best friends, my mom, and me and Jer completely started our life over here in North Carolina. And so I was like, what in the world? Like what? And somebody introduced mindfulness, Reiki, all of the things. And my first treatment, I was like, what is this?
Mm.
I'm like, this crap ain't real. And the moment I connected, I allowed myself to just be in the moment and I connected to the energy. I was sitting there, I was like, what is this? My what is this turned into a, ooh, what is this? And I've been hooked. I'm a how do you say it? Even though I'm a Reiki master, I'm going through a lot of transition in my business right now because, like I said, even going back to this list that everybody's on, that got everybody in the chokehold right now. We have to remember, and I'm gonna let you do your thing. I'm gonna say my piece.
Mm-mm.
We are the only group of melanated individuals in this matrix that is not connected to our traditions, our culture, even though we've created our own culture within what is perceived as culture and society, but everything is built on us. Why? Because we are the original. There is no copy. We are it. I am that I am. And a lot of us see that quote right there as taboo, but I'm tapping in to what our true value is and what that actually looks like. And we're taking that practice back. I've connected with Holistic Professionals of Color, which is a nonprofit organization that specializes on holistic wellness and health as it relates to the BIPOC community and our unique experience within this world.
Why did that just tickle me so much to hear? I had never heard nobody say that acronym as a word before.
We got to get used to it though, you know, because that's what.
BIPOC.
No, you good. No, no, we doing what we vibing. No, seriously though, we have to.
True.
It your reaction is like most of our reaction because they want us to think that it's weird. They don't want us to embrace and I have to be transparent. When I first heard the Black, Indigenous, and people of color term, they've labeled us and renamed us so many times. But in order to take it back, we have to start from somewhere. And when
True.
I really begin to bust that thing down, Black, Indigenous, and people of color, we get into our ethnicities and the race class. But when we're looking, that term they say as above, so below. And when we greet each other in, I hate the word conscious, that conscious community, but just more, I'm saying it more for understanding purposes, not for intellectual purposes. But we got to start somewhere. We have to begin to, like you said, be there for us, be comfortable to have these conversations and connect with one another. You got to listen. At
No, it's
some point,
true.
we got to listen to each other. We got to work to. Me and Jared just had this conversation yesterday. But when I began to bust that thing down and I started, getting in that creative space again, working with this nonprofit, working in my own business, Our Wellness Academy, which focuses on identical principles, I began to think of what does that look like? The Black experience in America, quote unquote. What does that look like?
Oh,
It,
let's narrow it down because like that is my thought often because I'm a cook. On, on a good career time when I feel like being in one job for a long period of time, I'm in somebody's kitchen. And I'm always with different cultures, like the whole kitchen. It's mostly like and working with like a lot of Hispanics. Like, what's that movie? Encanto. Hearing
I love that.
I don't want to butcher his name. I want to say it's Leguizamo. I believe he was talking about explaining the whole Encanto premise
Right.
and like how it like connects to their culture, how they
Mhm.
dramatize the magic of it and all that. And I'm just thinking like I am black,
Exactly.
but like I've never worn a dashiki outside of being part of the various like programs in high school that was run by like Q's. You know, they always had this weird. But like
But let's
I've
talk about it.
never felt like I was like, what is the black experience? You know, you see the
Exactly.
quinceañeras, you see the bar mitzvahs. My mom's a preacher, so like we've always said, if somebody's Catholic, this, somebody's Jewish, that, somebody's mosque, somebody's this, and it's like, oh, we're black. What we got?
It's a big mess, right? Right.
And being like then you toss the American because we are African Americans, but it's like we're
But
Black
are we?
Americans,
But are we? You understand what I'm saying?
right?
You know,
That's the big we don't. It is like now, granted, the big us must trust us to discuss trusting us. The big problem is the big. We keep going back. We don't. We're not set. We're not for those just listening. We're not calling on the bad times. We're going to sum up all of the bad times, and the bad times is the culmination of all the wars in general for the human race.
right.
We love the one of the errors of being human is we love competition. At its base level, we love to compete in a good way. But the problem is we've added 8 billion people. That means there are 8 billion perceptions of reality. So we have this toxic section that's like spreads like a cancer constantly through all. And this again, you don't want to be the one to get bit by the snake. I don't want to have to count the colors or those rings. Black before what? Is it red before white? Why is it a blue? This a rainbow snake. you know.
I think that's part of, as I was starting to break down the Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Um, you got the Pan Africans that it pisses off. Then you got the Moors. You got the Nation of Islam. Then you have the Hispanics, and then, and so on and so forth. And one of my good business colleagues is Hispanic. And when I tell you, I've spent as long as I've been in business is how long I have cultivated that relationship with him. And we're working on some things right now. And, I kind of dropped my concept and what I want to work on and what I need his help in moving towards. And he looked at me and he said, whatever you need, I'm on board. It's about the unity. Because when we look in the mirror, black as we know it, like you said, what is that? Most of us only know our history since our feet touch this soil and what we've been told, that slave, every time they come out with a movie about us, it's wrapped up on somebody's plantation, right?
Every favorite movie.
The narrative that they sold us.
Mm.
We're still so, they've, like I said, that razzle dazzle. They've turned Thanksgiving into Indigenous People Day. They've separated it, but we have options now. They gave us options.
No, I promise I don't want to see another slave movie if we're not going to have Harriet Tubman being like John Wick. This just traumatized the shit
Right.
out of me. I don't want to see it no more.
But but if you notice, even during Black History Month, they give us the same, I'm gonna use your word, main character energy every year after year. And you have to start asking yourself, why are they doing this? What are they trying to program? What are they actually hiding? And like I said, I can get a lot deeper, but we're gonna keep it cute, save some for later. But when you start thinking about indigenous, there's the next word in that acronym. We are the original. So when we start talking about Christopher Columbus and his discovery, so they say,
Right.
if you start digging, the indigenous doesn't appear and show up the way we know them. Who does it look like? So you mean to tell me that out of all these Black people here in America, they bought us all over here on boats? Where are these boats at? They done found everything but these boats.
That's a lot of boats. That's a lot of boats.
And you mean to tell me, now I'm not saying that that's not some of the narrative. I'm not saying that it didn't happen. But Christopher Columbus discovered America, right? So those indigenous, when you start digging and you start wondering why your forehead's so big, and you start wondering like, okay. You start asking those questions and you start digging and you jump into that rabbit hole. Who are the indigenous? And then when you get into history and you start talking about them $5 Indians, who are they?
See, y'all people that love y'all history. I be too much to call that.
The long blonde hair. Who are they? Because I know you're putting this on YouTube, so I'm trying to keep it cute.
Oh man, I don't be giving shit about them community standards.
But like you said,
Truth is the truth.
we gotta trust us to talk about us, to heal us. And with the holistic professionals of color, we heal ourselves, we heal our communities is her tagline. Her name is Dr. Karen Ray.
Karen Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she founded HPOC, and that is the school that where I'm getting my PhD right now. Awesome woman, Dr. Karen Ray Haymore. She founded this in 2017, and of course, her journey started long ago, much like most of us entrepreneurs, but I stand behind her 10 toes down in her mission of healing us, focusing on our unique experience in America, taking our culture back. Me and Jared were just having the conversation about, what is it? Hispanic versus, they have classes as well, where you have the Spaniards, but then you have the Aztecs and the African side, the Afro Latinos, even though they try so hard to separate themselves. Come on home, cousins. We love you. We don't hate you.
Mhm.
You know,
It's
everybody thinks that Black people had this glamorous time in America, or us as the Aboriginals and indigenous tribes. You know, they think we had stuff so glamorous. They don't give us the same things. You know, that thing called slavery, it was abolished. All they did was transfer. They transferred their goods and services. They closed an LLC and made it a corporation of America.
love that. Love that.
They
Love that.
transferred. No, you got to look into the etymology of words, and you have to look at it for what it is. We're still the reason why, people ask, why they still killing us, why they still doing this, why they won't do this. They've gave reparations to everybody but us. That Asian bill, that no crime hate Asian bill that they created. They've been slaughtering us like dogs in the street since when, and they still doing it. You want to know why? Because we're still their property. We're still, what is it, 3/5 of a human? Even though it may not say that on the books, but America owns us.
Them
The
Jim Crow
corporation
laws was a
owns us.
real thing. They said they don't take the human race as a whole is the easiest thing to subjugate because once we got categorized, all it did was feed into our natural need to compete.
Mm-hmm.
Then all it was, and they put the Jim Crow peoples. I don't need to explain that, do I? Because again, every February we all got force fed nothing but Jim
Hello?
Crow talks. So it's
Look,
inside. So that
water down.
competition is still there. Like I'm in Chicago. I hate saying it, but I hate when I'm in certain parts of the city. I'm like, damn niggas, and
Mm,
I hate it, but it's like,
Can't
God
stand
damn
them.
it.
Can't stand them.
And it's like
And
you making us all look bad. Like, bro, you don't feel that. Like, there's nothing. Like, I get into arguments with these type of guys all the time because it's like, why are you turning up? You started it with me. I feel like I'm a 3-year-old now because I'm like, you started it. Now you're talking
but my
about pulling out
thing
a
is,
gun. What?
but what we you said the key word. Everybody turning up. Everybody, you repping hoods that don't even belong to you. You still living at home with your mama. You don't own nothing. You don't have a business. Most of the times, the people that we're referring to, and this ain't shading nobody. It's knowledge. You repping these blocks and these hoods that you don't even own.
At all. You
You
got
getting
let's put
locked
it for
up.
everybody because then my people's doing the gangster. We've
Yeah,
got the rednecks out here over here backing up crazy politicians that
right.
I was in Ohio for too long. You got a bunch of you the broke redneck over here living in a town where half of the people that live there are literally incest kids, and you're backing up Donald Trump. Nothing he did backed you up. You've got I'm not even gonna keep going because I was about to get it was about to sound real racist,
Well,
but it
no,
was my
it's not
practical
though.
information learning. Because if I recorded the conversations I have in regular life, I'd have all of the content I need for because I have these with people. I was living in Chinatown when I first moved back out here. I would just have conversations with various Asian people about their experience here in America versus, back
Mm-hmm.
over in the various parts they're from. A lot of them are from what, Laos, Viet, somewhere near Vietnam. They were trying to explain it to me. They were just like Vietnam. And I felt like they was like trying to say, like, where you from? Chicago? Bellwood? Where's that from? 15 minutes outside Chicago? So you from
Chicago.
Chicago? Right. That's what it felt like. So I was like, okay, so you're from Vietnam. Cool. I'll stop asking. But they will always say the general way of talking was like, what is we know we knew growing up, I said that I was intentional. We knew growing up that we had to stay out of grown folks' business.
Right.
Even if we overheard something being talked about, we knew not to bring it up because that means we was in grown folks' business. Like what?
Yeah.
And like the other countries, they have that all the way up and through. Like, we respect the elderly at different rates. But here in America, that's a different answer. You have now that we have the cultural melting pot of everybody's problems becoming one big stir. We have the various household problems. So yes, you became a mom at 15. You was the mom and that was it. You had no aunts, you had no uncles, you had nobody else's. You had to become, by 25, you was grandma somehow. Because
Mm-hmm.
this is the real age people. I'm not saying this on bullshit. I know it. This is their story. Makes no
Let's
sense to
go
me.
back to that thing called epigenetics.
Hmm.
Um,
I'm so happy you caught up that I was trying to get you to say that word. I'm so
mhm.
happy you caught that I was trying to
No,
fish for
I'm
you.
just letting you know. I'm vibing. I'm tapped in, and I'm letting you get it out. But we have to go back to, again, our unique, and I'll keep saying unique experience. Of course, we both know that it gets a lot deeper than what we can fit into this individual podcast. So I'm just going to highlight a couple of things.
Because we're gonna
Um,
come back to all of these points. Because it's gonna be an epigenetics episode. We're gonna
yeah,
come back to the Reva. We go. Well, I'm sorry, it was
yeah.
Reva, right? Or
What, Reiki?
Reiki. There we go. We're gonna do a Reiki. I was like, we got to do a bunch of things. Cause I'm gonna
Yeah,
just put a random little mini video,
yeah,
little stingy right there. What that is to give them a
yeah,
taste.
yeah. So check it. We have to first remember that, how I mentioned, who are we really as the Black and brown people here in what they call the Americas? Regardless of whether you identify as African, Indigenous, Hispanic, person of color, Black, Moor, the list goes so long. We have so many different labels. At the end of it all, the reason why we can't get our shit together is because we forgot that we are a tribal nation, regardless of the label and how it identifies, meaning just what you said. We got the ancestors, we got the grandmas and grandpas, we got the aunties and uncles, then we got the parents and the siblings. The key word is competition. If you think about what a tribe represents, let's go and take it to the motherland. When you talk about Africa, there are rites of passages. There are things that you get coming out of the womb
Mm-hmm.
from all of these groups within that tribe that I just talked about. And when you're a child, there's a certain thing that you get collectively. As you move into what we would consider here as school age, that's when your development happens as a collective. Then you move into what we like to label and attack as your gender roles. If we didn't have gender roles, if we didn't have the yin and the yang, right? The balance, because the yin and the yang comes together to bring balance. And I'm saying it like this for conceptual purposes. I'm pretty sure I know the real and how it goes.
No,
That
that's it. That's
masculine,
it.
that masculine and feminine energy of the divine, the reason we were created, our higher and lower self. Those are those times where those things are developed. And as we develop those things, like I said, there are rites of passages. That's when the separation, when we go back to, was it I say
Mm-hmm.
Encanto, kind of they spelled it out pretty well in that movie, where you go through life and you learn things. And when we think about it from the African traditions, there are things that you learn, like I said, as a collective. Do you think that midwives have time to fight and fuss when somebody takes ill or they come in new on the scene? No. Each one of those young ladies knows how to do exactly the same thing to perfection. That thing back in the 80s and 90s that we call, what is it, each one teach one?
Mm-hmm.
When you don't get it right, you don't advance. You stay there until you get it right. And your elders and those that come before you, they build you up and put you on the same level. And collectively, they service the community. Now,
Yep.
that's not to say that, it's always going to be somebody in the family that act up. We're not saying that that don't happen. But on a more constructive and economical level, we work together. We built. We took care of one another. There was no, this is my idea, it's mine. Now, when you get into, what do you call them, empires and dynasties, you know, there's always going to be that, but we're talking about on a day to day, there always has to be a leader. So the wars, the warring, the survival of the fittest. You can't take that away structurally. There always has to be order. But from a community, and like you said, the fighting, the puffing up, you're always going to have sibling and community rivalry. But collectively as a whole, we handle business.
Because
We
we
don't,
forgot as a whole, like the purpose of a society is like the
yeah,
definition of a society is being able to be helped. Like, what is the
exactly.
study? It was a study they had a bunch of animals in one close community, and they realized somehow the damn zebra was like stitched up. It had time to heal. No one ate it. It had
Mm,
time to heal, meaning society. You help each other. But that's the
right,
problem. Like it's the fighting. Like I said earlier, like that small toxic part of the community, like the good part, or good for goodness sakes, are so scared to refuse to believe that there's evil in people. Some are naive enough to believe that there aren't. Some just refuse to
right,
point it out. But like, as long as we're scared to genuinely call out the bad behavior, we'll
right,
never be able to find the people who are really genuinely bad. Because some
right,
people genuinely want to watch the world burn. Like, that's not even
right,
a joke. And
right.
some of
That's
us
why
just,
you're
some
never
people are
going to
just,
completely erase it. There's always a bad
yeah.
apple. Always.
And I, it's at the core of it all. I honestly do believe that there are more good than bad, but just the way the world is with the a whole just having to work. If you're working constantly because you have to supplement your life versus the art you can do that makes you happy, those are rarely in the same category. So like a lot of us are just too beat down to want to fight,
Yeah.
to want to even put the trust out there, to want to discuss trusting
Because
anything.
you know why? Because you got that conscious community. And yeah, I'm gonna talk about us. Y'all, you can tag me. They can jump in my DMs. I'm ready all day, every day. But no,
Period.
seriously, in the conscious community, I've noticed that we carry this haughtiness. They figure like once they get a piece and they find their niche and they think they know a little bit of something, then we start condemning one another. Oh, you
Mm-hmm.
don't know, you need to catch up. No, teach. Be humble. Because you didn't get there by yourself. Okay,
Somebody heard that and missed it. If you one of them people like, oh, look at you with your little job,
right,
oh, with your little car,
right,
that's a microaggression. Yes, I said
right,
microaggression because it's a big one.
right. That was my thesis in grad school. It was the effects of the cognitive effects of microaggression against Black women attending predominantly white institutions.
Period. Yes,
I
yes,
almost
yes.
didn't graduate because of that.
I was just about to ask you, how the fuck did you get a degree? How did you walk out with a degree
Oh,
with
they
that one?
tried it. My last professor really tried it. She tried to fail me. And when I say I don't show up by myself, the ancestors held me all the way down.
Period.
And I had to work that thing right on out. But getting back into epigenetics, because I didn't realize how many people actually did dissertations on that exact thing. We waking up.
We are get as is what 2023. We
We
are
get
now at the point where everybody's now understands the term uncanny valley because we got fucking robots about to be just casually working in places. So
they
we need to reach a point where we like come together before
right.
it's like some Terminator shit going down. Like,
That's funny. That's my line name. Z Terminator.
period.
But getting back to the good stuff.
Oh yeah, because we that trauma thing, like, because we gonna we would because let's try to dive right to the what you call it as we reach our round down point
Okay.
because that trauma thing is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like, and that I feel, and I really, and I want that to be the next time we can come on and record. Let's just start right at trauma,
Okay.
because as I would love for it to, because that's the thing that makes it healthy. I know at this point right now, I'm at the point in my life where I can blatantly say the things that are triggered. If I get triggered by something, I can blatantly, by the time the words finish coming out my mouth, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. This has happened because let me make it up to you because I'm sorry. You didn't know that I might murder you if you have glitter on your body. You
Well,
don't, you
Lord,
don't know.
Lord.
It's that serious, just to keep it light, because I don't. When we go next episode, we'll talk some traumas, but it's just the real. Like if you have glitter on you, I'm really gonna freak the fuck out. Like it's not even gonna be a light freak out. It's gonna be a real. Like, I'm really
Oh,
gonna freak out.
Okay.
I have a 4-year-old. You know how stressful that is for me.
Exactly.
This up here is
Oh,
is trying to replace not having glitter in
you're gonna
places.
have to go book a session with me, bro. I got you. I got you.
It's just I'm gonna hang myself. It's
No, don't
this.
say that. Don't say that.
I don't want to look like a Twilight vampire.
Words have power. Words have power.
You're right. But no, let's because because that's real. Because it was it's the epigenetics. We got that past that ancestral genetics, that family
Post-traumatic stress
genetics.
disorder.
Oh, it's layers of it, and it's always hard to even as a people. Like I was saying, how like people say look at your little this, your little car. That small microaggression amongst us as a people is hard to break away from because you don't even realize it. When your friends are saying it, it's funny. But then that one person you don't like says it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a flood comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, it wasn't that one. It's because you've been feeling this way. It's all of the random directions it's coming from. But then
Mm-hmm.
you don't know again, you was raised in a way, the things you forgot when you was in the household growing up that we saw our parents go through.
Yep.
Because we seen it, we was the shorties, we wanted the light up shoes. And we heard grandma making fun of her for not getting me some fresh kicks. Like, no, I want the light up shoes.
Right. Right.
The whole list. Now we see our mom and dad get all depressed because they didn't get us. Oh man, but I'm like, I thought I was happy because that's again before them, before them, before them, before them. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to paint this out because folks get some people hear ancestral and they just instantly get real whimsical
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
magical. And granted, I would love for the world to 100% fully work like a movie where it could be like real life, light a candle, ooh, right, bubble opens up. Let me just ask you, because tell me, let's get full magical because I don't want to fly, but some nice teleporting. That's why I want to cap out. I just want to
Tap
teleport.
in, bro. Tap in.
That's where we at.
Tap
That's
in.
it. I want a ceiling. I need a ceiling on powers because I'm jumpy. Like, I don't need nothing that's offensive. I don't need like to be able to do this and it does something.
But why not?
I'm
That's
jumpy.
that's who we are. Tap in.
I Let me just be the teleport guy. That's cool. That's useful. That's support. I can be here. I'm here for you. But
You probably already doing it and just can't remember.
that's what I'm. That's what,
Avatar. One word. Avatar.
don't get me sad. Don't get me sad because I love fantasy. I love the
You
fantasy
gotta
world
remember. You
conversations more
gotta
than the real
remember. Your
world.
body is a shell. You're a soul.
That is true. So with a meat
Spirit
suit.
having a human experience. Where you
See,
think
now we
you go,
got
where you think you go when you go to bed at night and you close your eyes? What you think happens? Avatar. In plain sight.
no true. The general mindscape of it all. That it's intense. Yeah, because
Hmm.
I'm a strong believer in the. I don't even know the thing. 'Cause I grew up in a preacher family, so I love hearing everybody say the like, why don't y'all say
You
sanctified
look
this,
at
that, and the
look
third?
at Kojic baby right here. Pew baby.
I, I can
Grandma
hear
was
it.
mother of the church.
I can hear it. I can hear it. You Kojic people, y'all got this real bounce to it. It's a real profound bounce. No, but because all these words are all the same, like they're all the same. Like, wouldn't it be like real ironic of when we died? God like was like soon as everybody coming in, the first like, when you say God for the first time, he literally slaps you because he's like, I gave you like a whole book of a Bible and all of them with 100,000 different ways to call my name, and all of y'all been saying the same one. It's like the equivalent, the human equivalence of mom, 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 mommy, mom for like the entirety of human existence.
That's my ringtone for my kids. The Stewie.
That's what we're doing to God every day. We can't say not a Yahweh, not a nothing. We don't say no other. Oh, then it's oh
Oh, we're
man,
gonna
that's all
save that
pain.
conversation for another cast.
I know, right? Because
Uh,
this is why I love everybody's first one. I always wrap it up like it's short because the guest intros are the best ones because you give me all the things that I want to talk about with you. So when I run it back and edit it, I just make a list. All right, we're gonna come back to that. We're gonna come right back. We're gonna do that. We're gonna hit that. We'll be hitting Reiki. We hitting all the epigen
Epigenetics.
Epigenetics. I'm working on it. I ain't been doing nothing but
It's all
cooking.
good. It's all good. It's all good.
No, I
Just,
feel like my vocabulary is lessened so much, but you know how it is in the early parent phases where all you're doing is trying to talk slow so that your kids, you know,
pick up. Yeah. Yeah.
like where's my vocabulary go? Like, can I
Yeah,
say big words?
you gotta remember though, kids are tapped in. So they're not as inept is such a not the word that I'm looking for. They're not as incapable as we think they are. Even the Bible says, you know, that kids, when you're in Christ, that you're supposed to be childlike, meaning in your learning. Why? Because children are like sponges, they're vulnerable, and I'm taking it there, you know, but I'm not saying that that's the only way you could get it. But just speaking on that, give her a little more credit because she can probably teach you some stuff.
Oh, she is, man. What is the I borrowed some baby dolls? I'm like, what you gonna name the baby dolls? I'm thinking it's gonna be something random. What is it? Solomon and Safari or something?
Okay.
Sakura and Safari. I'm like, what is? I'm like, what? And I kept asking names. I'm like, is that what I'm thinking is gonna change up? No. She corrected me. That's the new opening. The intro to the song that's gonna be playing over this is her starting off saying, "Don't play me, Dad." That's her little voice.
That's funny. That's
I'm
funny.
putting
I like
respect on it. But Miss Walton,
yes.
we're gonna call this for your first guest for your guest intro because you've given me so much to run with and think about, and this is just so like it's awesome. You're awesome. Your brain is awesome. I want to pick your brain so much more. We're gonna keep picking it. I'm trying to access my cuntiness with this blonde hair I've got going.
I
You
like
know,
it though. I like it.
oh, it's gonna be pink. It's gonna be real pink. What's the color? What's the name of the color? It's gonna be atomic pink
Atomic
today.
pink. Okay. Okay. You gonna make me do my rose gold.
Do it. Yes, do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
I've been thinking about it now for a couple of months, but this has
Do it.
been awesome.
Do it. Do it. Jared wants it. Jared wants it. He wants it. But no, but you're awesome. You're awesome. We're gonna do this again so much more times. We're gonna do this a bunch more times, and I appreciate you so much.
RB. We came from the bottom, from finding a way to go get it. Go get it. Hey.
Now we on top, nigga. Now we put on for our city. Yeah.
Two for say huncho, you get it, LeBron. Can't wait till the day that we win it. Can't wait.
You can rest in peace now, bro, cause nigga, we did it, we did it.
We win it.
We win it.
We win it.
We did it, we did it.
We win it.
We win it.
We win it.
We did it, we did it.
We win it.
We win it.
We win it.
We did it, we did it.
We win it.
We win it.
We win it.
We did it, we did it. I never thought we would make